Hi, Sandra here. Welcome to Create in Spain, and today I am doing an inlay card. Now I have a couple of different cards or card fronts here, and I'm going to show you how it's created. What I will do is I will also do a video on how to create these cards in Shortcuts a lot, because most of the videos that I have seen where someone's been making a card like this, it has been with metal dies, and obviously if you have a plotter and you're cutting things out, it's slightly different, and you need to know how to actually construct the file. But this is how to actually put the card together. Now I've done a relatively simple one here, except for the fact that it is in 3 different colours. And what I've done is cut out a couple of different cards with the same design, because at the end of the day you can make several cards all in one batch using this particular pattern. So you would think it would be relatively easy to put the pieces back in and yeah, everything would be fine. And it can be, but there are times when perhaps the pieces don't quite fit in as easily as you might like. And one of the reasons for that is generally that you will find on the edge of something there is just a little bit of card which hasn't quite cut cleanly. And the best thing to do with that is to either fold it to the back of the card or to cut it off. You need a clean front in order for it to work properly. Now the other question is whether you fix your front onto your card base first of all, and if you do, how you do that, and so on and so forth. So I have found that there is a relatively simple way of doing this, and what I choose to do is to take a piece of double-sided tape. You can do it with glue, but yeah, I just find double-sided tape is a little easier to work. And only put your double-sided tape on one side for the moment. Okay. And just lift up one edge of it. Position it as you want your card to be positioned, making sure that you've got your edge straight. And it's easier to do it with the edge which has still got the tape with the backing actually on it. And just check that you've got it central. I think that's about it. And then I can press it down with one hand, remove the tape with the other, and I've got that positioned. Now, okay, the whole lot of it isn't stuck down, but it is at least positioned. So that is fine if you're doing it with a glue, for example, in here to get your pieces stuck in. Now if you're going to do it that way, I suggest a glue with a fine tip nozzle. And I'm just going to make sure that my nozzle is clean, because it does get bunged up from time to time. Hopefully that's fine. Put my glasses back on so I can see what I'm doing. Okay. Now, because I've got that in place, I know where I want it, and I know roughly where the outline is going to be, I can just come in with my glue and stick the front down completely. So that's not going to shift anywhere, that's fine. And now it's time to put my letters in, so I'll start off. Oops, tiniest bit of glue over there, which I didn't want. That's one of the dangers of doing it at arm's length. Okay. Now in this particular case, I'm going to put in pink foil letters. And you just have to wiggle it a bit till it gets in. Now the problem with doing it this way is that you will sometimes get glue on the outside. Now, depending on the glue, sometimes it's going to show and sometimes it isn't. And that is somewhat difficult to judge unless you've tested it out first. Okay. But I'm going to continue with this one. For some reason that's slightly sticky on the back. I have no idea why. Actually, I'll just put the glue on here, I think, rather than put it in the holes. I'm just going to put tiny, tiny little dots of glue in there. Now, if you're scared of picking it up, use a pair of tweezers and start off with the edges which have got really defined shapes, because that makes it easier to make sure you get it exactly where it's supposed to be. So you might think that it would be automatic to do the heart first, and I've tried it that way round and it really isn't that good, because you can actually put it in the wrong place. No, that bit's still not stuck. Hang on, I'm going to take that bit closer to me, take the glasses off so I can see again, and make sure I got some glue on there. I've got to the stage now where I need glasses for distance and glasses for using the computer and things, but close up I have to take them off, which is a bit of a pain. Yes, I know I should go to varifocals and I really don't want to. Right, okay, so that one's in. So then we could put this one in. Now, unfortunately, I've got a gap just there. And the reason I've got a gap is because I haven't actually saved the piece from the black background that I should have saved that goes in there. Or at least if I have, I haven't got it on my table. It's bound to be around somewhere. I will just have to find it later. But I've tested that piece is fitting as it should do. So I can put this on here. And so that if you're doing this properly, you shouldn't have any gaps anywhere. It should be a perfect fit. Of course, everything is perfect in theory and doesn't necessarily end up being perfect in practice. And that's obviously slightly off. On that side, because I've put it down too far over there. Oh yay, the fun of doing things on camera. Right. So that in theory should be down there. And then I have to try and get this O in, and it's not obvious which way round it goes, but that actually now fits. It's a very strange shape, that O, so that narrow piece is at the top. There's an alternative way of doing this, and this is not my favourite way of doing it. I'm just showing you one way first of all, and I'll show you the other way afterwards. Okay, now I really do need to have my head directly over this, but that would mean all you'd see is my head, which really is not the idea. And then you could either have the black one in, or you could have the silver in, or you could have the pink in. And I've gone and lost my silver piece. Oh, the joys of having a fan off. Okay, got to do somewhere. It has to be on my table somewhere, but I can't seem to find it at the moment. Ah, typical. But there was a silver piece, so you get the idea of how to do the inlay. Now, the other way of doing it involves putting in the letters from the reverse side. And as long as you have a clean cut, so for example, I have this one, as long as you have a clean cut, it is actually, I think, a bit easier. you can slot it in, and then you can just take a little piece of masking tape to stop it from falling out, and it's really, really easy to do. And you don't have to bother with a lot of glue or anything else. Now this one, I didn't have that heart cut out, but I did have to do this one way or another. So this particular one is quite a tricky O for some strange reason. It's a very odd shape. I'm trying to work out which way round it goes. It takes a while. I know it fits in there somehow. It's just a case of how is it fitting in there? Nope, not that way round. It doesn't seem to be that one. Perhaps it's that way round instead. No, not quite. Does that fit? That's all up on that side. No, it doesn't. Ah, probably because I need to rotate it a bit. La, 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 la. Come on. You will fit. One way or another, I know you fit. Oh, it came out of there, it should fit. Well, it didn't come out of this particular piece, but you know what I mean. It did fit. A while ago when I was doing it, it did fit. I think that actually is probably it. Okay, so it's somewhere like that. Hey, got it. Okay. Now this particular one, I'm going to have to be very careful how I put this in, because I want to put in a pink piece as well, and that seems to fit. Let's have a look, see how that does. No, that pink one's not around the right way. I will have to stick it in like so. And then work that piece in. I think that's done it. Okay, let's put in a piece of tape just like that. Okay, now the V and D are relatively simple because there's only one way they can go. The joy of having nice simple lettering. There we go, those slot in beautifully. Okay, so there we have that one, and obviously that can be mounted on another piece of card. I think that's rather nice, just with the pink in there. The other thing you can do is to put in that one, so it sort of adds a bit of extra dimension as well. That is a case of choices whether you actually want to do it or not. The secret to making these inlay cards is to choose colours of cardstock and textures of cardstock that go together. You need different types of cardstock that are the same weight, preferably. If you have a very, very thick base or a very thick letter in some way, it's not going to work. So you do need to make sure that you've got similar weight card. Now, when I say there's another way of doing these, there is another way of doing it, in that you take your front piece of card, in this case it would be just the black piece, and you put double-sided tape on another piece of black, and then you line up the double-sided tape so that it goes behind your front panel, and then all your pieces in there are they're going to be stuck down. The difficulty with that is if you do it that way, there's no room for error. I have a failed attempt here. You see, I'm all about showing you failures, where it was all going swimmingly until I decided to put the heart piece in first. And I thought I had it fitted, and then I couldn't get the letters in properly. But I couldn't remove the heart piece because this stuff was so sticky that it was just impossible to remove. Phew, that went in the bin. So that's a couple of different ways of actually doing the inset. Some people want to use tape on the back like that. Some people want to use the glue method. Some people will want to do the double-sided tape method. It very much depends on your design. I mean, if you've got letters like this that are extremely definite, they can only go round one way, then the double tape method is probably quite good because you're not going to make too many errors in putting your letters in. If you've got to fiddle around and try and work it around, then don't use the double-sided tape method. It's as simple as that. You will come vastly unstuck, or at least actually you won't come unstuck. That's more the problem. And the other thing is, do try and make sure you don't lose your bits because somewhere or other I have a circle of silver foil paper and I have no idea where it is because I haven't dropped it in the bin and I can't see it on the floor, but it probably is around somewhere. It's got to be around somewhere. It can't walk, so it's got to be around somewhere. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. I'll get to work now on the how to make the files in Shortcut Slot. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.